Hello, hello, how are you? Welcome to this guided reflective journaling session, and thank you for being here and thank you for creating this space for yourself today. My name is Emma, and I'm a therapeutic coach and dynamic hypnotherapist, and I am working with people like you who are committed to their journey of intentional, purposeful, wide awake, heart-led living. So today, or maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, whenever you choose to use this, because you can use it again and again and again, I am going to be guiding you through a reflective coaching session. So intentionally, it's quite fast paced and it's going to leave you feeling energized and really ready to take some aligned actions, whatever is right for you. So in order to complete this session, you're going to need 5 things. So number 1, you're going to need a pen and paper. Number 2, you're going to need an environment where you can really turn your attention inward. So either somewhere quiet, or maybe you would like to put some background music on, or whatever it is that usually helps you to concentrate. Number 3, you're going to need 45 minutes to commit to yourself without any distraction. So knowing deeply that you're just choosing to take this time for you for your own benefit. Number 4, you're going to need to choose an area of your life where it's really, 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 really important to you to move forward in, because that's what we're going to focus the session on. And number 5, you are going to need a curious, loving, non-judgmental and honest approach to everything that comes up for you as you journal through this process. So, during this time, during the next 45 minutes, you are going to be working through a coaching model called the GROW model. So the G is standing for your goal, the R is for your reality, the O is for your options, and the W is for your way forward. So I'm going to guide you through this every step of the way. And as a reminder, there are absolutely no wrong and no right answers. So I just offer you now to completely trust your intuition and to trust the coaching process. So what I mean by that, just put down onto the paper whatever it is that comes to you. This time is an opportunity for you to have some real space and to have some real insights on where you want to go, where you're at the moment, and how you're going to get there. I encourage you not to pause the audio and to just keep focusing, because for your brain, knowing that you are working within this limited time is going to allow your subconscious to provide you with the most important answers. That said, and I'll say this again and again and again, trust your own intuition on this. If you want to pause, if you want to take a break, if you want to stretch or dance or whatever it is you want to do, you just choose to make those choices and do whatever makes you most comfortable. There is a version which is just audio, and there is a version which is audio with slides. So take the one with slides if you want to have a visual prompt, if that's something you find helpful, or equally you could just use this as an audio if that's your preference. Again, trust what feels good for you, trust whatever helps you to concentrate. And during this time, I invite you to be completely open and completely honest in what you write down for yourself. So you're going to be writing down all the answers to all the questions that I pose to you, and they are yours, and they're only yours. So just let yourself completely go and just answer the question in whatever way it resonates with you. Like I said, there are no right and there are no wrong answers. So if you hear the question and you are like, not quite sure how it's meant, just answer it in whichever way you receive it. That's it. That's how to do it. That's how this process works. Before we begin, I just invite you to make sure that you have everything you need and that you're super comfortable and you're ready to focus and you're ready to move forward and you're ready to get energized and excited and you're ready to get in a deep focus space. And in order to do that, I'm just going to invite you to get in a space where you just feel grounded. For me, that's feet flat on the floor. For you, that could be something totally different. So choose however you want to sit, make sure you're really comfortable for the next amount of time. And I'm just going to invite you to take in, we're going to do 3 nice deep long breaths. And we're going to go in through our nose and out through our nose. So let's do those together. So just now, taking a really lovely, long, slow, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. And then just exhale. Long, slow exhale. That's good. And then just take another lovely, long, slow, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. And a nice, long, slow exhale through your nose. Just finding your body now in time and space. And final one, we're just going to take a lovely, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top. And when you're ready, just let that breath out through your nose. Nice, long, slow exhale. And before we start as well, now that we know where we are in our body, we're here, I'm just going to invite you to look at the space you're in, if that's available to you right now, just to check and see and orient yourself in that space. So if, like me, you're in a room in your house right now, just noticing the 4 corners of that room, just taking a look at them all, and as well finding the exit. Or maybe if you're outside, just taking a few seconds now to find an object, whatever it is, and to just focus on it, just describe it. Just come here now and be with this in the present moment. Excellent. And so now we are ready to begin. So I'm just going to invite you now to step into yourself. Just drop into that space in your heart and connect within. And so we're just going to bring now into your mind the general area of your life that you'd like to work on in the next 40 minutes. It might be time management, career, fitness, self-esteem, a relationship, business, whatever it is. It must be real. It must really matter to you that you begin to find a way forward in this area. And it must be something that you have some control over. And it must be for you, not for somebody else. Because you can only be coached on what you can do, not what you wish someone else would do. So now I just invite you to write down as a general topic what you want to work on in 1 sentence for easy reference throughout this session. So perhaps it sounds like, my topic is time management and I want to find some more time for me. Or my topic is well-being and I want to move my body more. Or my topic is business and I want to attract new clients. Just take a second to write that down now. And so let's begin with our goal. Let's invite in our future. Just thinking about this broad topic area that you've noted down, go forward in time to a point in which everything in this area of your life is as you want it to be. It is resolved. It is sorted. It is scoring 10 out of 10 for your satisfaction. And just write down the following answers to these questions now. What does success look like when you take yourself to this point in time in the future, where everything is exactly how you want it to be? Everything is resolved, sorted, and scoring 10 out of 10 for your satisfaction. Write down, what does success look like when you take to yourself to this point in the future? What are you doing which shows you have achieved what you wanted? What are you doing which shows that you have achieved what you wanted? What are other people saying to you? What are other people saying to you? What are you thinking now that it's resolved? What are you thinking now that it's resolved? What are you feeling now that it's resolved? What are you feeling now that it's exactly as you want it to be? And what are the benefits you have experienced? What are the benefits you've experienced now that everything's resolved and sorted and scoring 10 out of 10 for your satisfaction? What impact has this had on other areas of your life? What impact has this had on other areas of your life? And what would have happened if you had not done anything at all? What would have happened if you had not done anything at all and the situation had remained exactly as it is today? And so now, looking at your broad topic, list out all of the different parts and elements that you've needed to resolve or to focus on in order to reach this 10 out of 10. Looking at your broad topic, just list out all of the different parts and elements that you've needed to resolve or focus on in order to reach the 10 out of 10. Which one aspect is the most important aspect for you to address? What made you choose that one? And what are the advantages of addressing that one aspect? What made you choose that one? And what are the advantages of addressing that one aspect? And so on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 means that everything in this particular part of the whole is as you'd like it to be, and 1 is that you've only just started thinking about it, where are you now? So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is everything in this particular part of the whole is exactly as you'd like it to be, and 1 is that you've only just started thinking about it, where are you now? And how will you know if you were 1 step closer? So how would you know if it was from a 3 to a 4, from an 8 to a 9, from a 6 to a 7? Be really specific. Write down what's happening that tells you that you've moved that 1 step forward. And how will you know if you're 1 step closer? Just write down what's happening that tells you you've moved that 1 step forward. And when can you achieve that first step by? It needs to take you towards your 10 out of 10 for your general issue, perhaps a goal for the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe shorter but no longer. Can you write this down as an outcome, but as if you've already achieved this? I am, I have, I do. I am, I have, I do. I am reading and meditating for 10 minutes each day. I am using my bicycle for 20 minutes 3 times a week. I am taking consistent marketing actions within my business. Whatever it might be for you, just make sure it's written in the positive. I want to, not I don't want to, and be specific. How are you going to measure this? So just write down this as an outcome, but as if you've already achieved it. And make sure it's written in the positive. Just be clear about how you're going to measure this. And if you're thinking at this point, this is too impossible, it's too big, it's too challenging, just think about how you can break it into something to achieve in a shorter period of time. And check that you're working on something where you really have control. Excellent. So that's the goal part completed. So at this point, you should be clear on your topic. You should also know what finished will look like when you've resolved the area of concern. You have a clear goal for progress in one aspect of what good looks like. And so now let's move on to the reality. Let's look at our current, our now, where we're at the moment. In relation to your goal, what is happening that tells you that this is an issue for you? What is going on that is causing you concern? In relation to your goal, what is happening that tells you that this is an issue for you? And what is going on that is causing you concern? And what makes this an issue now particularly? What makes this an issue now particularly? And what is missing that you want? Be precise. Describe all the things that are missing in detail. What is missing that you want? Describe all the things that are missing in detail. And what is good that you want to keep because it is contributing to your goal? And what are you doing right? What is good that you want to keep because it is contributing to your goal? And what are you already doing right? What good habits do you already have in this area? What good habits do you already have in this area? Think now about things that you have tried already to improve things. For those things that were successful, even if only for a short time, what exactly did you do? In what ways did you do them? When did you do them? How did you do them? What were you thinking at the time? What kept you going? And what do you think made it work? What was key here? So think about all of the things that you've tried already to improve things, and for those things that were successful, even if only for a short time, what exactly did you do? In what ways did you do them? When did you do them? How? What were you thinking at the time? What kept you going? What do you think made it work? And for those things that were not successful, short or long term, just identify at what point it stopped working. What happened? For those things that were not successful, short or long term, identify at what point it stopped working. What happened? And for those ideas that didn't work, when exactly did it go wrong? What do you think might have contributed to that setback? And what was the first thing that triggered the setback? What was going on around you? What were the circumstances? So for those ideas that didn't work, when exactly did it go wrong? What do you think might have contributed to the setback? And what was the first thing that triggered the setback? Just remember what was going on around you at the time and what were the circumstances. On reflection, what might have made the biggest difference and made you successful? What have these thoughts about your previous attempts taught you that you could use going forward? On reflection, what might have made the biggest difference and made you successful? And what have these thoughts about your previous attempts taught you that you could use going forward? What have you learnt about yourself? What have you learnt about yourself? And what strikes you as being absolutely crucial to your success this time? What strikes you as being absolutely crucial to your success this time? And what obstacles are there now which you think might prevent or hinder you from moving forward now? What obstacles are there now which you think might prevent or hinder you from moving forward now? What's the major obstacle? And in what way is it an obstacle? What's the major obstacle and in what way is it an obstacle? Look closely at this obstacle. What exactly is it about this obstacle that gets in the way? Move away from generalizations here, like time. For example, how much time? If it's your boss that's getting in the way, what about your boss gets in the way? Don't let yourself get away with big general statements here. Be really, really specific about what that obstacle is and exactly what it is about that obstacle that gets in the way. And how have you tried to negotiate similar barriers in the past? In what way were you successful? How have you tried to negotiate similar barriers in the past, and in what ways were you successful? What did you learn? What's transferable? What did you learn, and what's transferable? What still needs to be tackled to overcome this barrier? What still needs to be tackled to overcome this barrier? And what skills, strengths, resources have you got that you could use here? What skills have you got from work, from home, from your leisure activities that would be relevant here? And what support do you already have that will be important? Excellent. So we're now at the end of the reality section. So you've now got an issue with a specific goal for this session. You know what's going on and what's not going on for you now. You've highlighted what you've done about it so far and what success you've had. And you've thought about possible obstacles. You're now going to begin thinking about moving forward. So as we move into options, let's create some opportunities and ideas. These aren't things that you have to do. We're just simply here to create ideas in this moment. So when it comes to moving forward, thinking about your options, what could you do? What could you do? This is not the stage to select one or two options, but to generate several ideas on the possible ways forward. So just brainstorm now a few ideas about what could you do. What ideas do you have that might move you closer to your goal? Let the ideas flow, don't edit them, don't stop them. What ideas do you have that might move you closer to your goal? Just let them all out onto the paper now. And what could you do if you weren't answerable to anyone? What could you do if you weren't answerable to anybody? What could you do if resources were unlimited? What could you do if resources were unlimited? What could you do if you devoted yourself to resolving just this issue? What could you do if you devoted yourself to resolving just this issue? What could you do if you didn't have to live with the consequences? What could you do if you didn't have to live with the consequences? What could you do if you weren't scared of anything? What could you do if you weren't scared of anything? And what could you do if you totally believed in yourself? What could you do if you totally believed in yourself? If you went to your best friend, what might they suggest? If you went to your best friend, what might they suggest? Think about what you've tried and learnt from actions you've taken previously. Think about where the good ideas went wrong and think about when things didn't go to plan. What new ideas does that generate? Thinking about what you've tried and learnt from actions you've taken previously, think about where the good ideas went wrong and think about when things didn't go to plan. What new ideas does that generate? Look at your list now. What else is there? What's missing? What other ideas are there that link to the ones you've written down? What else? Think of just 3 more possible options. Any ideas, just let them flow. Don't stop them. And now look more critically at your list. Which of your ideas looks right? Which of your ideas looks right? Which of your ideas feels best? And which of your ideas will move you closer to where you want to be? Which of your ideas is the quickest? Which of your ideas is the easiest? Which of your ideas is the most challenging? And which one is the most exciting? And so, which out of your list of options will you commit to taking action on? And just check now that they're definitely going to move you forwards towards your goal. How are they going to move you forward to your goal? If they are, stay with them. And so that concludes the options and the opportunity section. And so now we're going to move into the W, the way forward. This is where we need to get those ideas or actions really specific to ensure success. So exactly what do you need to do to put those options you want to take forward into practice? We're going to look now at what are the specific action steps. We're going to split it down into the smallest manageable parts. We're going to write down all the tiny things that need to happen, the tiny little steps. So just take a moment now to just write down exactly what needs to happen, the specific action steps that need to happen in order for you to move forward on those actions that you've committed to taking action on. Write down all of the little things, all of those tiny steps. What might stop you from completing your first steps? What barriers are there in the way? What might stop you from completing your first steps, and what barriers are in the way? How might you negotiate those barriers? What will stop it from stopping you? Can you write down some specific actions that will help you to negotiate those barriers? What else do you need to think about which might get in the way? And what are the ways around this? What else do you need to think about which might get in the way, and what are the ways around this? If you've written something and you're already thinking, I can't do that, break it into smaller bits so you can say, I will do that. Who else should get involved? And when will you involve them? Regarding the actions you've written down, when do you want to have this done by? Be specific. What time? How realistic are those timings? Regarding the actions you've written down, when do you want to have this done by? Be specific. What time? And how realistic are those timings? And how strong is your intention to take this step or steps? Rate your commitment out of 10, with 0 being that you're not going to bother at all, and 10 being that you're absolutely committed to taking these actions. How strong is your intention to take this step or steps? Rate your commitment out of 10. What would be the benefits of taking these actions? Who else would benefit? And if you took this step or steps, what would you be saying to yourself? How would you be feeling? If you took this step or steps, what would you be saying to yourself and how would you be feeling? And the final question, what have you learned? What have you learned about yourself from going through this process? What have you learned about what you need to do to move forward? I just invite you now, as we close this session, to just take another lovely deep breath in. And thank you for giving yourself this time today. I know you're going to have had some powerful insights on something important to you, and I wish you whatever you need right now to keep evolving and to keep moving forward on the things that you want to move forward on. With all my love.